Hello everyone, my name is Krista Edward and this is my fourth semester at QCC. I'm studying my pre-clinical classes for nursing and I had the great privilege to interview Ms. Edsel, and I'll also thank Marissa for giving me the opportunity to meet her. I read Ms. Edsel Katz's book when I was in high school. It's titled Our Tomorrow Never Came, and she became a great source of inspiration for me after I read that book, and I also met her that year. And I remember we were in the library and she was talking to us, and I couldn't imagine how strong one has to be to tell such a story. When I found out that Ms. Edsel volunteered at the Holocaust Center, I did not hesitate one bit to ask Marissa to speak to her again. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm just gonna give you a rundown on Ms. Edsel Katz's life, past story. She's from Berkast, right? It's a small town in eastern Poland. She had seven members of her family. She had her parents, her oldest sister, a twin brother, and two younger brothers. She's the only survivor of her family. Ms. Edsel Katz's mother passed away before the war, and her older sister took care of the family and acted as loving and caring as a mother. She told me that she will go to school and she was very good at art, and she still is. When I went over to interview her, she showed me her sketchbook when she pretty much drew the Holocaust experience, where she was hiding and all the places she went. She also had a lot of friends growing up, and two of them survived, and she's still in contact with them still today. Hitler marched in her town on July 5th, 1941, and the first day they murdered 100 Jews and destroyed all the synagogues. And since then, the loss has become even harder. The Jews had to wear armbands with a yellow Jewish star. There was a curfew, and things just got worse. In fall of 1942, thousands of Jews were sent to gas chambers, and the horror just became worse. And in June 1943, the Jews had no right to exist. So Ms. Edsel's family was forced to leave the town and move out of the city to go into hiding. They hid in different places. They were hiding in someone's attic, and that person was pretty much taking care of them, giving them food. But she told me as the time passed by, they realized that the food was getting smaller, and the potatoes, and it was just not enough to feed the whole family. And she told me her older sister would chew on one bit of potato because she was trying to leave more food for the rest of the kids. And that family eventually threw them out, and they had nowhere to go. They had to hide. One of the most dangerous places that her family had to hide in was the green field. It was just a field, and there was no walls, nothing. It was just a field there. They just decide there is nowhere to go, and they just laid in the field, and there was workers. It's very dangerous. The last hiding place that her and her family went, it was in a farmhouse in the attic. Her family were captured there on March 8, 1944, and they were all murdered. She told me she was laying down on the snow injured, and she opened her eyes and she saw the black boots standing over her. And she told me she closed her eyes and said her prayers. But when she realized that the boots had disappeared and she realized that the soldier was running after her two younger brothers that were trying to get away. She was laying down on the snow, and the soldiers had left. They left her there cold, injured. She was rescued by some Polish teenagers, and 2 weeks after, the Russians liberated the area. She went back in the field with the help of the teenage Polish. She buried her whole family, and she went back to the city. She thought that everything was over since the Russian had liberated, but it was not. A week later, she had to hide again because Hitler had reoccupied the area. She was all alone. She walked in the house, in the attic, and she found a fake wall. She said she was so grateful to find that fake wall. There was an opening in the wall. She opened it and stayed in there. She hid in there for 4 weeks. She was suffering with cold. She was cold. And she said her biggest problem was she was really thirsty. She was so thirsty that she couldn't even swallow anymore. And the house that she was hiding in the attic, that whole house was occupied by German soldiers. And she had to stay up there with no noise. She couldn't move. And the thirst was beginning to get so hard that she had to risk going down to find water. After those horrible 4 weeks hidden alone in the attic, she was liberated on July 22nd, 1944. I just want to say, it takes a very strong woman to tell such a story. I myself, I have a big family, and I do not want to imagine ever have to witness them being murdered. And me and Miss Eto has a very unique connection because I myself is very religious and she is too. And she was telling me when she was hiding in the farmhouse with her family, they will stay and pray, that they will pray to God and ask for help, and they will hope that everything will get better. And I remember for me as well, back in 2010, I was in the earthquake in Haiti. And I remember every night we would sleep outside for months, and me and my family, would stay outside and we'll pray together and hope that everything gets better. She means a lot to me, and I have her book and I'll always cherish it. She gave me a quote actually. Thou shalt not stand idly while thy neighbor's blood is shed. I'm very thankful that I met her, and I'll always remember her. She has a great heart and a lot of love to give. Thank you.
Thank you very much for absorbing my story. So you listened so carefully. It's very important to me because I remember when we were in a bunker in a very sad situation. The Gestapo was in front of us. We were saying goodbye to each other. My father said, "Who will tell the world what we are suffering?" Well, I am grateful the young people listen and absorb my story and tell the world what we suffer. It's very important. As my father said, who will tell the story? Well, it's very sad story. I am glad that the young people, the following generations, are taking it over, listening carefully, and trying to make a better world. It should never happen again. What we're doing here, we're really teaching to value the humanity of all mankind. What we have to do, we have to respect your neighbor's nationality, religion, culture, language, whatever it is, and then we could live in peace together. I hope that people that listen to us understand what the Holocaust was, what the atrocities were, and it should try to work. It should never happen again. We must work for a better world. Thank you very much.